All right, y'all. So we're going to be doing something different today. We're going to be covering the Michael biopic for sure, but we're going to be getting into some of the previous films that precede the film and also some family tea. And again, this is all information I've gathered from the internet, personal opinions, and alleged rumor. So don't sue me because I ain't got it. All right. But this is going to be a longer film news than usual. So get some popcorn, get your drink, get whatever you need, and settle in because it's going to be a little bit of a journey. All right. But thanks for joining us today. And let's get into it.
Confident, you're strong, you're the greatest of all time.
It's Film Friday, and I must be the most inconsistent content creator on YouTube, but I am working in the real world, and believe it or not, I think I said it before. If you didn't believe it and you've been watching the trades, you believe it now. Hollywood's in shambles, and this is how I make my living and feed my children. So I have been swamped with just trying to make shit happen and projects that were already underway. And also, there is not a ton of great shit that came out towards the end of 2025. Like, there just wasn't. But the Michael movie is here. I saw it already, and I wanted to do a really deep dive into the whole world of Michael biopic films. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, I would be remiss if I didn't start at the beginning. Not the beginning of his life, but the beginning of the Jackson family, Michael Jackson biopic universe. And so we start with the Jacksons, An American Dream. Angela Bassett, Lawrence Jacob Hilton, Jason Weaver. Sorry, my mind. I had to find it. Holly Robinson Pete was in that. Vanessa Williams plays Susan DePass, who was one of my mentors and one of the all-time OG female producers in the game. All around 10-star movie. I remember I was in elementary when that movie came out. Everybody sat down as a family to watch that, and I never missed an opportunity to watch that as a child when it would come on TV. And I even think at one point we had the DVD in my house. I don't know, probably. So no notes. No notes on the Jackson American Dream. It gave us wonderful moments like these.
What are you going to do? Ask him to go out, get a switch off a tree, bring it in here so you can beat him with it. Go to bed, Joseph. Go to bed.
Remember that? Anyway, then we move into the era of mistakes. Starting first and foremost with our guy Flex Alexander's film, Man in the Mirror.
Oh my gosh. It's so bad. I can't even watch. I watched a little bit on YouTube. I was like, holy shit. I was like, that's pretty bad.
Now, as soon as I saw Flex in that pancake white makeup, I decided I wanted nothing to do with Man in the Mirror. So I had never seen it. But for the purposes of this film review, I wanted to go ahead and check it out just so I can make sure I was right in what I always thought. And here's what we got.
Mother,
Somebody tell
get
me
Paris
something.
and
What's
Chris.
going on?
Get them out of here. I don't
Yes,
want them to
yes.
see this.
Okay, come on.
Start packing. We're going back to Neverland. Oh my God. Oh my God, this is so horrible. Bobby, I can't bring another child into this world. Call the lawyers. Cancel the surrogate.
It's too late, Michael. She's already pregnant.
But look at this, Bobby. Look at this.
I know.
All those people, their families.
Absolutely everyone, and make no mistake when I say everyone, I mean everyone involved with that film from the top to the bottom. And when I say the top, I mean producers. You know, we are at the top. We're the money people, or we're the people that connect all the dots and make everything happen, down to the PAs. The extras, the backgrounds. Everybody that was involved with that movie from top to bottom needs their ass whooped. including Flex Alexander. Flex, we love you. 101, Homeboys in Outer Space. People make mistakes, but I don't know what we were thinking. I watched the first 5 minutes of that movie. I didn't even get to the point where his makeup went from. I'm sorry, Flex. I didn't get from the point where the makeup went from chocolate brown to pancake white. I didn't make it, guys. I made it about 8 minutes in, and I said, "You ain't no way, boy. Ain't no way." And then Flex has the unmitigated gall to sit on Vlad TV and say this.
Comments about it. He was upset, but he never said anything, about me or my performance. It was the allegations and the stuff that was going on at the time that he was upset. It's like, why do we have to keep talking about this? And what the producers did, they just went from court documents and kind of wrote around that. So they never tried to paint him out, awful or nothing. The last scene is me standing on top of the SUV when he's acquitted. So that wasn't their intention. So it just, listen, they took a shot at it, and it was a brick.
Flex, you think? I wish we could act like Man in the Mirror never happened, but we mostly remember now because of all the memes that have floated around social media. That's really all that movie gave us, and I'm sure it pissed Mike off. That was awful. Let's move on to the next one. Now, in 2017, Lifetime gave us the biopic Michael Jackson Searching for Neverland. Now, we all know how Lifetime likes to play on our tops when it comes to these biopics. They did it with the Aaliyah movie, the Saved by the Bell biopic. Like, I don't even know why they need a biopic, but I think they did a Different Strokes biopic. Like, Lifetime loves to play in our faces with these biopics, and I fear they did it again. I fear they did it again with this one.
Like I told you, I wasn't there that night.
But you were there the 2 years leading up to that night.
He doesn't want to be the king of pop. He just wants to be Mike, a normal American dad.
Raising these kids alone is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. There are good people in the world, and there are bad people. I'll always protect you.
We love that man. We were the only two people actually looking out for him.
Come on, show me what you got.
What else do you want to know?
This one is starring Michael Jackson tribute artist Navi. I think with this one, the director probably thought, oh my God, we have somebody who looks like Michael, so let's do all these close-ups. And all I noticed in the first 8 minutes was how bad the makeup was, how they had like pink Estee Lauder lipstick on this man. And the storyline was from the perspective of the bodyguard. It was kind of like later on in his life, after all the allegations, he had come back into the country. That's when he was living in Vegas with his kids. And it just was like all that weird shit going on. And it just was like, nobody asked for this. Absolutely nobody asked for this. This is unauthorized. So of course there's no Michael music in the film. It just was Lifetime playing on our top again, which brings us to Michael. Now, do I think that Michael is the biopic that he deserved? In a lot of ways, yes. In regards to the marketing, the rollout, the fanfare, all of the expectation and hype around it, absolutely. He's the best. He's our king forever. And he absolutely deserved that. But I had some issues with the biopic. I know. But they're valid. And I kind of got to go into the reasons why I think these issues actually happened to make how I feel make sense. So just stay with me, I promise. It's going to make sense by the end. Let me cook. Let's get into it. So first and foremost, I would like to start my assessment by saying that this is my opinion. And I would just like to say, again, this is my opinion. There are no spoilers. I don't know how you can have spoilers in a biopic when we all know the details of this man's life inside and out. But these are just my opinions, my thoughts based on things that I know and things that I've heard and things that I saw when I went to go and see the movie, early access screening. And I do want to start also by saying that I live in a Michael Jackson household, not even by choice. Michael Jackson actually died on my birthday, June 25th, 2009. It's unreal. I remember exactly where I was when I found out. You remember exactly where you were, and I remember that it was my birthday. And as sad as it was that we lost him, I kind of feel special that somebody so great made their transition into the next, era on my day, that I was born. So there's that. And also, he moonwalked in 1983, which was the year I was born. So I just feel really full circle when it comes to Mike. Both of my children are absolute Michael Jackson fans, and I never set out to make them fans. I never sat them down and said, hey, this is Michael Jackson, and this is YouTube. Watch his videos every day on repeat. I never did that, but that's just what they've been on since they were small children, and they're older now. I'll just say that. So this is a Michael Jackson household. We love Mike. So everything that I'm saying is with love because I think that he deserves it all. So now that I've given my disclaimer, let's get into the Michael biopic. Finally, right? So I think I cried for like all of the childhood scenes because I don't know what's wrong with me. I just cried. And, they showed some of the more traumatic parts of his childhood. Coleman Domingo did an absolute wonderful job as Joe Jackson. At first I was like, Coleman Domingo is Joe Jackson? And then I saw the makeup and I was like, all right, I feel this. And then I was like, okay, Halle Bailey is Janet Jackson. Okay, that makes sense, And then it was like, where's Halle Bailey? Like, I mean, I guess this is a spoiler alert. Janet's nowhere to be found in that film. And I think it's absolutely insane that you can have a Michael Jackson film and not have Janet Jackson in it when that was the sibling that he was closest to. And now I did some research online, and exactly as I thought, the alleged culprit behind the reason why Janet wasn't on board with the film, well, I'll just play this clip for you, and then I'll get into what I think. And it's deep, and it goes into some family tea. But let me just play the clip.
No wonder Janet Jackson refused to appear in the Michael Jackson film. No one realized that 3 actions by Jafar Jackson completely enraged her. Among Michael's 9 siblings, Janet was the closest to him, and they were inseparable since childhood. Even after Michael Jackson became globally famous, Janet remained closely connected to him. Michael once said Janet was the family member most like him. After Michael's death, Janet revealed, "There isn't a day I don't miss him." However, regarding the Michael Jackson film, Janet expressed unusually strong opposition, and her anger reportedly intensified over her nephew Jafar's casting. The primary reason is that Janet believes her brother Jermaine Jackson is exploiting Michael's legacy, as he has been a key supporter of the film, allegedly to help his son Jafar enter the entertainment.
Now, I don't know who that source is. I don't know if it's correct. I just know that Janet was not on board with this film. I know his daughter Paris is not on board with this film. And I know that everybody who wasn't on board with the film got pulled out of the film, which is kind of rough because, you would just have to have seen me in court. If I'm Antoine, you're going to have to see me in court because I can't tell this story without you. So you had these 6 brothers, and then you had LaToya in the film as if she was the only sibling. And we all know how Mike felt about LaToya. Like, I don't want to get into people's sibling business. You have different relationships with all your siblings when you have more than one. So I don't know. I don't want to say he didn't fuck with her, but I mean, a lot of the clips that they have together is usually him berating her or making fun of her in some kind of way, saying that she sounds annoying or some shit like that. And she's the only sister in the film. Reeby's not even represented in the film, which I thought was absolutely insane. So just as I suspected, the culprit is Jermaine. Yeah, I mean, the cat's out the bag. Jermaine Jackson has kept up so much shit in this family, starting with the rivalry that him and Mike had from back in the day. I think that Jermaine was supposed to be the lead singer of the Jackson group. And then once the mom discovered that Michael could sing and he was little and he was cute, it just made sense. Let's put him in the front. And I mean, we love you, Jay, but you're no Mike. So there was already contention there. And then he stayed behind to be at Motown because he married Berry Gordy's daughter. And he was going to try to be this solo star and get out ahead of Michael's solo career. And we all know how that went. So rivalry, he made a whole diss track about Mike. And then let's get into the real family tea, which might have started with the feud, but then went into Jermaine marrying Randy Jackson's wife. It wasn't his ex-wife at the time. It was his wife. Alejandra Genevieve. Now, she was married to Randy at the time that she started creeping with Jermaine. She divorces Randy, who she had 2 kids with, I believe, and then marries Jermaine and has 3 kids with him, one of whom is Jafar, who stars as Mike. Now, if you pay attention to Jafar's interviews, because I have, he speaks very lovingly about Mike. He speaks very lovingly about all the work and care he put in. Absolutely no shade to Jafar Jackson. To me, he's an innocent in all this. He did his damn job in this film, right? But you'll notice that he never really has any personal stories about his Uncle Michael. And I think that's because Mike wasn't fucking with Jermaine. And he definitely wasn't fucking with Jermaine after he married Randy's wife and then proceeded to have 3 kids with her, only to divorce her and marry somebody else. I don't know, call me crazy, but if you're going to do something crazy like date a sibling's spouse and then have kids with them, you need to write that thing out for life. But Jermaine was like, nah, not me. I'm going to keep it toxic. I'm the original toxic. And we're going to keep this train going.
That time, Jermaine Jackson married his brother's baby mama, and then the family couldn't get rid of the woman. So in 1986, the youngest Jackson brother, Randy Jackson, met the Colombian model Alejandra Oziaza. They dated for a couple years and even had 2 children, but it's said that Randy Jackson was still in his playboy phase and had no plans on settling down with Alejandra. Then to make matters worse, while she was 7 months pregnant with their second child, Randy went off and married another woman. In enters Randy's older brother, Jermaine Jackson. Once while Randy was off on tour, Jermaine came and swooped this lady off his hands without him even knowing. Alejandra said she was looking for a man that was more family oriented, and apparently that's where Jermaine Jackson was at the time. He was very much family oriented. The two had 3 children of their own, one actually being Jafar Jackson, who's going to be playing Michael Jackson in his upcoming biopic. They even went as far as to get secretly married in 1995, and this set Mama Jackson off. But Randy threw a fit. He felt betrayed by his brother, stopped talking to him for years, and called Alejandra a pig. That's when he stopped paying his child support. He said, get somebody else to do it. And according to Alejandra, Jermaine did fill that role. He took care of her children with Randy as well as her children with him. He was a great father. But catch this. It is when he went to divorce her in 2004 that he realized his wife had been married this entire time. She got married back in 87 to some random dude for a green card, which Randy already knew about back in the day, which may be one of the reasons he didn't take her serious. But I guess he didn't give his brother a heads up. And even though the marriage was annulled, the family did not get rid of Alejandra. She decided on her own will that in exchange for neither brothers paying their child support, her and her kids will just stay at the family's Havenhurst house. It's not until 2010 that Catherine was finally able to get this woman evicted, being that this agreement was not agreed upon by a judge. That woman gave his family hell.
Now, again, this is speculation. I don't know these niggas. You know, they're not my cousin on my mama or my daddy's side, but I'm not illiterate. I know how to read in between lines. I'm from the outside looking in. I think, you know, Michael's a Virgo. Virgos don't deal well with public mess. Once it gets too messy, they're out. You know what I'm saying? So I think that by the time Jafar came along, Mike and Jermaine were well and estranged. You know who do got stories with Mike? Them niggas 3T, Tito's kids. Oh, he fuck with those kids heavy. Remember this?
You here beside me, without you there's no me. Why does Monday come but Tuesday? Why does summer start in June? Why do winters come too soon? Why do people fall in love when they're always picking up?
Yeah, they know Uncle Mike. So I don't know what happened there. There was a lot of mess. It was a scheme set up by Todd. I know that, you know, Janet, I heard she felt like he was just trying to push his son. It's like, you know, Michael didn't really fuck with you like that. And Jermaine is one line in the movie. Like there's no character of Jermaine anywhere in the movie. But of course his son is playing Mike, so there's that. It just was, to me, there were a lot of holes and we didn't really learn anything new about Mike. So when I saw that they got a 27% on Rotten Tomatoes, I'm like, fuck them. Of course they're gonna give the black biopic 27%. And I'm gonna give it 99% because it's Mike. You know what I'm saying? And it got real close. It got real close, but I think that they made some major mistakes in leaving people out. I don't care if you didn't want to be in it. You're a part of the story and you're a public figure. You would be in this film and I would have to just see you in court. But that's just me. I'm a little bit more gorilla-y when it comes to things that, you know, need to be done to make things make sense. But yeah, that was just my take on it. I felt like that kind of threw me back a little bit. And also, if you didn't know, this is a two-part film. There's so much footage. There's so many reshoots. There was a lot of shit they ran into with legalities about cases and stuff that they couldn't cover. So I believe that there's 2 more hours of footage that we're probably going to get to see next year. Because at the end of it, I don't want to spoil anything, but you'll see, what they put at the end, and you'll know it seems like they're kind of alluding to like a part 2 of this, which I really want to see, because maybe part 2 is going to patch up some of these holes. I don't know, but for me there were a lot of holes. But otherwise, Jafar did a really good job. Coleman did a great job. I did learn some new things. If you didn't know, Bubbles the Chimp is still alive. He's 47 years old, still doing well. Shout out to Bubbles. And overall, I would say you got to go see Mike. It's Mike. And just so you know, the Michael Jackson biopic is in theaters today. So go and support and make this the #1 movie in the world. And I do actually want to do this. Oh, wait. Before I get into the red carpet rundown, I do want to say that there was no Diana Ross in the movie. Kat Graham, who was cast as Diana Ross, got online and said that, all of her scenes ended up on the cutting room floor. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I mean, the story on the streets allegedly with Diana and Mike, allegedly Dirty Diana was about Diana Ross. So I'm going to leave that there. You can go down your own little rabbit hole with that whole relationship there. I don't know if it was a friendship. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. All I know is she said that her scenes got pulled due to some legalities. And it's like, I don't know how we're rewriting history. I don't know how we're half telling it. I still give it a 99, you know what I'm saying? Just because of the performances alone. They were so realistic. I mean, there were certain angles and stuff that Jafar's face would hit that you thought, like, is that Mike? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was definitely something that you're going to want to go see. We should go see it, make this the #1 movie in America. But yeah, I just feel like we probably should have sat down with the script and went through this with lawyers, because I don't know how we've gotten to this place where so much stuff is just getting snatched and pulled, and we're not getting the full story. But hey, I still love it. And as far as biopics go and Michael Jackson is concerned, this is the biopic that he deserves, along with all the fanfare. So I want to get into some of the red carpet rundown moments that come from the cast, cast family, and also fan red carpet moments, because a lot of people are dressing up. And I do love about this movie that it's kind of like becoming a cultural moment. Like, Mike is so loved. Like, people are going to theaters and they're dressing as him. I know when I went, there were people in the theaters that were dressed like him. I know I dressed like him too, but I was a little low key with mine. I was trying to be fly with mine, nothing too corny. But I'm going to get into some of the things that I saw when I was out and some of the looks from around the different early access premieres and screenings that I've seen. As usual, I'll let the sound effects do the talking, but I did want to say this. I know you didn't see a lot of me at the end of last year and at the beginning of this year, but because truly there hasn't been a lot of great films coming out. But the summer is going to be a hot one. Devil Wears Prada 2 is coming out next week. You got a bunch of hot shit coming out in May. Is God Is. I Love Boosters, the new Boots Riley film. I mean, there's a lot of great films coming out, so you will be seeing more of me. Those are just a few of the films that are coming up that I'm very excited to go and see and review. But with that being said, let's get into some of these premiere looks from the stars of the film, from friends and family, and from fans of Mike.
I'm gonna be the best thing in the world. You might be, bro. This might be my.
I don't know about you, but I like my look the best. All right, y'all. That's all for this week. I'll be back next week, I think, with a review on The Devil Wears Prada 2. I'm really excited about that. So, more than likely, I'll see you next Friday. Beat me there, don't meet me there. Until next time, this has been Film News You Can Use. Bye.